Well, hello. Quick video about my latest purchase from eBay, of course. Now, this watch caught my eye because it's so retro, it's so of its time. It's commonly known as a UFO watch because the profile, if you have a look, is rather like an old 1960s movies UFO. I mean, a lot of us might remember, I'm a little bit too young to remember, but I remember seeing the replays of UFO and other programs like that on the TV. Space 1999, obviously Star Trek, that type of thing, Blake 7, all those great old space programs. Now, this is a mechanical watch made by Rolatron with a Swiss movement. It's a one jewel movement. It's got a beautiful dark blue face, highly chromed case, which is a bit problematic for me because I've got a zinc allergy and I think there could be zinc in that. I've paired it with a stainless steel expandable bracelet which I had from another vintage watch, which I think suits it pretty well. So I'll be fine with the bracelet, but the actual watch itself I think is going to give me a rash where it touches, because the back plate is also base metal, probably containing some nickel. I think I said zinc before. It's the nickel allergy I've got. Now, I paid, I think it was £19 for this, and I haven't had to do too much to it. It was in pretty clean condition. I've given it a bit of a polish up. I've given the crystal a little bit of a polish up. It's come up a lot better. And I've given the case, everything a general clean and a polish. The main issue I had with it is it was ticking, but then it would stop and you'd have to shake it and then it'd start ticking again. I couldn't get it to run for more than a minute or two without it stopping. So I was starting to think, this is going to be a problem. I'm not going to get it serviced. It's just not financially viable for such a cheap watch to go and pay someone to service this. Now, I'm no watch expert whatsoever, but I thought, it feels like it needs some oil. And so I got the back off, and very carefully I decided to put some oil in a couple of places, hoping that might help. Now, I've got some of this oil laying around, which is Hanway's sword oil. I used to have a couple of medieval swords on display on my wall, which I haven't got anymore, but I still got the oil because they were, what do they call it, the carbon steel. And if you don't oil the blades, they will rust. So you'd have to kind of make sure you had a little coating of oil. It cleans the metal up as well. But I found the oil very useful for many other things. I bought a whole box of this years ago off eBay. All these little bottles. Really good stuff. And it's quite a fine oil. So I thought, okay, well, let's use a bit of that. Now, I wasn't going to strip the watch apart and start putting oil underneath the jewel, which I know is what you're meant to. It's meant to have a little dot of oil underneath the jewel. I haven't got the equipment really to, or the knowledge to do that. But what I thought, it was a very hot day, so the oil is feeling thinner than usual. I thought, I'm just going to drop a dot of oil on top of the jewel, because it's only a one jewel, and hope with the hope that it might work its way to the back, because that is a bearing essentially. I was just thinking, it's worth a try. Got nothing to lose. And also, where you have the pivot arms which are moving, I use this. As you can see, this is the spring bar tool to remove the pins on the strap. So dipping that into oil, I pop that on the spindle, just underneath, just like touched it there, both above above and below I think it's called the pivot arm, where you've got the arms which are moving like this, making the cogs rotate. I think I did this in a couple of places, little drop of oil on top of the jewel, and that was about it. Put the case back on, and lo and behold, it's working. It's keeping good time. I've saved the watch. It did the trick. It literally just needed a bit of lubrication, and I haven't had to have it serviced. I didn't have to get the whole thing into pieces. Yeah, and it's keeping pretty good time. There is a little lever you can retard or advance the time. If it's, I would say it's probably running maybe a minute or two slower a day. I could take the back off and play around and probably get that a bit better, but I'm probably not going to wear this because it's going to give me an allergy. Now I've got it working. I've got a strap because it didn't arrive with a strap. It was just the watch head itself on its own. But I knew I had this strap, this 18mm strap, which I thought would look pretty good on it. I'll show you what it looks like on my wrist in a second. And I'm going to be posting it back on eBay and hopefully get my money back, if not a little bit more. And I think, you know, they're not making this style anymore. It is a piece of history when fashions in the 60s were this kind of space age. Everything was to do with the space age. I mean, obviously 1969, man landed on the moon and all the other things that were going on. The general public were kind of space crazy, and that's why you had all these programs that are being made like Star Trek and Space 1999 and all the rest of them, and UFO. Jerry Anderson's UFO. Jerry Anderson, I think he made the puppet series Thunderbirds and Fireball XL5, is it? I think it's the same guy. Well, he did the program UFO, and that actually had actors instead of puppets. So this is bang the type of thing they'd be wearing on that program. Totally fits the style. So if you're looking for like a 1960s, early 70s piece that, you know, really is of the era and the style, this is a great little thing. So I'll just pause it. I'll put it on my wrist, show you what it looks like. Before I try that on, this is a watch I'm wearing today, my Tissot C-Star automatic, circa 1972. I've just purchased this leather strap for it. It had a metal strap on it before, which wasn't correct and didn't look that good. And I was looking for a strap that would really set the watch off, and I think this really looks good. I bought it from AliExpress. It says it's genuine leather. It smells like leather. I wouldn't say it's the highest quality strap in the world, but for, I think it was about £4. Took about a week to get here. I think it looks great. Anyway, back to the UFO watch. There you go. That's what it looks like on my wrist. I think it's approximately something like 33mm wide on the case, with 18mm strap. But you can really see the depth when you look at it now. That iconic 1960s UFO shape is there. And it's a shame I won't be able to wear it. It's going to set me off on a rash, at least at the top of my wrist anyway. So anything more than a few minutes is going to cause me a problem. And I'll whack it on eBay. If it doesn't sell, I'll just keep hold of it as a little bit of an investment. It's extremely good condition. And I mean, they're not an overly expensive watch to begin with, I wouldn't imagine. It's not of huge high quality, but it has got swift movement, be it only one jewel. But I think this one's been looked after very well. Probably wasn't worn very much because it's really stood the test of time, and there's only a few minor imperfections on it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.